Hi, what's going on? Good afternoon, everybody. This is K Rev on Kouch. Listen, we're in our afternoon segment, and I'm excited. Just as I was this morning, I'm just as excited now. Why? Because I'm alive and I have breath, and I'm able to see the sunshine out here in my office. It's just really an awesome feeling to be able to feel and to taste great food and to touch great things that's been created because life is not a supposed to be. It's definitely a treasure and a gift. So I'm thankful every day for that opportunity to just open my mouth and give gratitude. And you should too. Take note of what you've been through, and I know sometimes things get hard. Situations become very, dim and dismal at times. But you know what? If you look and backtrack and take a look at what has happened, that you really came out unscathed. A lot of things that we try to hold on to, we shouldn't try to hold on to because sometimes, even though change does not feel good, change sometimes can be for the better. So I want you guys to know that you matter, you are important, and sometimes change doesn't feel good, but it's necessary. I'm excited to have today a great guy, a great young man, a great business owner and CEO. I've got a chance to be acquainted with him through our huge business network, a Matthews Business Network. Shout out to Mr. Stan Matthews and Mr. Ralph for the creation of this great platform to where that great people can connect with great minds. And so it's awesome. So great Martin Davis. He's the owner and CEO of Assured Safety, and he's going to be talking to us today, just highlighting a little bit of his business and talk to us on how to keep those safety measures, in the workplace and with different companies. So I'm excited to have him on. So after the brief introduction, we'll be talking to none other than Mr. Sir Martin Davis, and it's happening on the couch, Kay's couch. Hey, Mr. Martin Davis, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, Carrie, how are you?
Hey, everything is going good, and I'm excited because I'm alive and I can breathe and I can talk to you. I can get some great info from a very experienced and very enlightened young man. I really appreciate that.
All the thanks are to you, and I concur with you. Each day is a blessing, so we should not discount our blessings and be thankful for each day and each moment.
Yes, absolutely. I really appreciate you sharing that. And we're here to talk about I'm gonna call it your business, baby, assured safety, and just also how you've, over the time have kept yourself in a great place of positiveness and grooming yourself for the position that you're holding, and how this business has also extended from that position to other areas of your life. And I'm excited to just really kind of delve into that a bit with those who will be participating and listening in and taking a look at the stream of the interview. And so just really kind of going in real quick, what was your motivation behind creating your own business? Just kind of let me know that.
Okay, my motivation for creating my own business was actually twofold. First,
Hmm.
that I could benefit financially from the knowledge that I and skill sets that I had acquired through my career with government service.
Hmm.
Secondly, that I could continue to impact the workplace, uh, meaning workplace safety and health, while
Hmm.
serving as a resource and providing OSHA certification training and information to whomever sought or needed my services.
I think that is amazing. Over the years, I've heard so much about OSHA, and I know, I'm not having gotten the chance to really become hugely acquainted with them. But could you, like, a couple of seconds, take a minute to let us know what OSHA is?
Okay, OSHA is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and federal OSHA has jurisdiction over any and all workplaces in the United States that have an employer employee relationship.
Okay.
Divides the states somewhat, as there are some states that have both a federal entity and a state entity. So, in
Okay.
those states that have both entities, the federal component would have jurisdiction over the private sector and the federal agencies. The state
Hmm.
would have jurisdiction over the county workers, the city workers, the township workers, and the state workers. In other
Okay.
states, such as, say, Las Vegas or North
Mm.
Carolina, the state component has jurisdiction over everything because there's no federal entity within those areas. However, each state that has a state plan has to subscribe to federal OSHA's standards and regulations. They
Mm.
can enhance the degree of enforcement and regulations, but they can't do anything less than.
Oh, okay then. Okay, you enlightened me on that because I used to hear about OSHA all the time, and people used to threaten that they was going, if you don't do this, they're going to come in and they're going to do this, and I never doubted that. But people used to really kind of throw that name around a lot when I was coming up in certain jobs, and I just never really got a chance to meet anybody that has been that close in contact with that network. So you've really enlightened me over the course of time. I just never understood wholeheartedly, but that's why it's important to ask questions and to network so you can actually get an understanding.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really thank you for that. So in creating assured safety and being in these different places and these different levels of management and positions and dealing with people, you know, what do you do, to keep a positive mindset? I know a lot of times things don't always go the way you want it to go, in grooming and creating and making things happen. What do you do to keep your mindset positive?
Well, simply put, Carrie, I attempt to maintain a positive mindset in all of
Mm,
my endeavors because uh, being closed minded would limit enormous possibilities. So
mm,
I try to keep a positive outlook and know that no matter what the circumstances are, I have to find some solution or median ground. And the only way that you can do that is to remain positive so that your focus and mindset could be clear.
that is amazing. I've been in dismal places myself, and I've found it to be very positive, very important to keep a positive mindset, keep positive surroundings, keep that positioning for yourself going. And so, from CEO to a very groomed CEO, I really appreciate you really sharing that. You just got to keep that positive mindset, stay in, your positive endeavors, and just keep it really, really pushing. So, well, then from that, then knowing that you got to keep a positive mindset in spite of what's going on, you have to do that. So, why do you think, setting goals, even after keeping the positive mindset, positioning to pursue the positive endeavors, so in all of that, why do you think is, what do you think setting goals? So many people say that they're going to set goals, but don't set goals, or they set goals and don't fulfill the need of finishing them. So, why do you think it's important, for setting goals?
Um, it's my belief that if an individual does not set or establish goals, then they're actually leaving things to chance, which in
Mhm.
most instances does not facilitate progress. So,
Mm,
continually setting goals helps trigger new behaviors and it helps guide your focus and helps you to sustain a progressive momentum in life. And
mm.
in life, we all want to progress and move forward as opposed to moving backward. So, maintaining that momentum is important. So, setting goals in essence also helps align your focus and promote a sense of self mastery. Proverbially speaking, excuse me,
No, you're good.
you can't manage what you don't measure, and you can't improve upon something that you don't properly manage. So there's a little play
Um,
on words, but it's
no, I
important
love it.
to manage what you're doing so that you can be in charge and in control.
I love that line. You cannot manage what you don't measure. I'm going to probably use that and just put that on my desk. You cannot manage what you don't measure, from the words of Martin Davis. You cannot manage what you don't measure. That is an amazing statement because many people do not do that. Individuals do not do that. You have to have self mastery, but people are not disciplined enough to do that within themselves. So, listen, if I don't take anything else away from this kind of interview today, I know I'm taking you can't manage what you don't measure. And so that really inflicts conviction to me. I got to make sure that I put my goals out there. I truly appreciate that. So I call you Sir Martin Davis. Mr. Sir
And I
Martin.
appreciate it. You have knighted me, so I feel blessed.
Love it. I do. So tell us about assured safety. Tell us about assured and how did it come to be? And what is the purpose behind the business?
Okay, I will give you uh, somewhat of a shortened version of
Okay.
the long version that I normally give, but Assure Safety Management is the name of an LLC that I established in April of 2017. My company
Absolutely.
provides workplace occupational safety and health consultation services, such as program review and development, subject matter training, as well as OSHA 10-hour and OSHA 30-hour certification training in the areas of construction, maritime, and general industry. Uh, Often, when asked about my business and how I chose my career path, I state that a fellow coworker during lunch when I was employed at the Brooklyn Veterans Administration Medical Center, the coworker Victor Mature asked me what my career goals were. And he was adamant that I determine a career path. And I gave him a response to which he immediately challenged it and told me that if I didn't establish a career path, that I would be a perpetual entry level employee,
Hmm.
which as a young man, I was somewhat offended. And I
I would have been too.
reported and asked him, what is your career path? What are your career goals? And he
Hmm.
hesitate with the very quickness. He said, I'm functioning in my career path. I am a procurement such and such. And at that point, he was a manager. So
Hmm.
I'm shook. And, we went on, we discussed some other things. But at that point, I was traveling 75 miles back and forth to work. Well, 75 miles each way. So at the
Hmm.
conclusion of that work day, during my drive home, I reviewed in my mind the discussion that I had with Victor, and I realized that I did in fact need to lock in on a career. And I concluded after a few brief moments of thinking of the things that I was required to do work wise, the skill sets that I was learning, not doing any strenuous work and things of that nature, having people from various disciplines, whether they were medical doctors, scientists, engineers, or what have you, listening to my instructions regarding safety and health. So I realized that there was a lot of growth potential in that particular occupation. And during that ride home, I decided, okay, this is going to be my career path, but what can I do to ensure that I become proficient and get to a point where I'm recognized as an authority in this field.
Mm.
So I had the requirement to know certain regulatory requirements and standards. So immediately OSHA popped in my head because I had done some things with OSHA and reviewed some standards that particular day. So I'm like, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration is responsible for all workplaces where there's an employer employee relationship, and they cover the full spectrum, whether it's in a factory, whether it's in a hospital, a dentist's office, um, even if it's someone working in a bank or a car dealership, doesn't matter. Even construction, maritime, what have you, it just doesn't cover agriculture.
Mm.
So anyway, my mindset was if I transfer to OSHA, I could learn a lot and become proficient. Where at some point I could go out into the private sector and make a lot of money and be able to take care of my family. The last piece was that I thought if I follow these steps and goals, then I eventually could start my own business. Little did I know that conversation that I had with Victor, him pushing me to make a turn, go left or right, and pivot in the right direction, ultimately set the stage for me to have a career path that I'm still involved in today. Even after retiring from the government, I'm doing the same type of work and attempting to make a difference in the workplace. So, in concluding this, my business today is to continue to serve and protect America's most vital asset, which is the American worker.
I'm just at awe. You know how, I mean, that was probably a pretty interesting ride home that night. You know,
And I obviously was by myself. Normally, I'd
r-
have some music on. There was no music on that day because I'm trying to figure out why did this man, chop me up like that.
right. I get it. I get it, man. And some of the most interesting thoughts and revelations I've had is on ride homes like that in the car. And but the Bible talks about all things work. So that
Mhm.
conversation he had, triggered you to now be in a place that you can actually uphold the services and duties for businesses and not, as you said, you were saying, trying to make a difference. No, you're making a difference because to me, you're making a difference because you made the decision to create the business. And number one, to have the choice and to make that decision takes courage within itself. And for you to make that choice to do that, listen, you're making the difference for doing it. And that in that making that choice, you probably cause others to network and to connect. You help other people earn money. You help other people to see, what they need to fix in their businesses and positioning yourself to spread your, broaden your horizons and enlighten yourself even more. So
Absolutely.
at that moment, it probably stung, you know, probably hit the ego a bit as it would have hit me too. But you didn't let that cripple you though.
No.
You didn't let that cripple you. You made the choice to get up, brush the dirt off your shoulders, and let me show this man what it really is to have a career choice. And that's what you did.
Well, I
And
actually, excuse me for cutting you off. I
you
actually
good.
went to work the next day and I thanked him. I said,
Oh wow.
I've made my choice and this is what it is and this is what I plan to do. And we're still
Wow.
friends today. And he laughs. He's a few years older than me, but he laughs when he says, "In life, sometimes we need someone looking in from the outside to steer and direct us to where we need to be because people see in us sometimes what we don't see within ourselves at a particular moment in time. And I look at the situation with Victor as it was bigger than just two guys having a conversation. It was his role to guide and direct me to do what ultimately I feel was become my purpose in life, which is to do what I do to help protect workers so that they can go home to their families at the end of the evening, and also to uh, provide training and information that can enable folks to get jobs and do things business wise, and stay on the right side of the law.
I love that. I really, so you're not trying to make a difference in my eyes. You are making a difference. And through your decisions of finding your career choice, businesses and business owners alike are able to go home to their families and enjoy because you've helped them see what they need to take care of in a safety management form.
Carrie,
Listen,
if I
mhm,
may, uh,
yes, sir.
just thought of something I didn't tell you or share this with you and our listeners. At one point in my career, when I was working out of Philadelphia, I did an
Mhm,
assigned inspection at a uh, transportation yard. Let's say I won't give specifics, but
mhm,
on that particular inspection, I was doing an on-the-job training for a new hire. So I had
gotcha.
someone with me, and when we closed out the inspection for that site, I encountered a safety director for a company who was not too uh, he wasn't too pleased with what my agency did. So he had a
Mm,
lot of negative things to say, and essentially he was kind of disruptive during my closing. And I
mhm,
didn't argue with him. I told him, I said, "Sir, if you do not um, enforce the required standards and regulations, you're going to put your workers at risk,
mhm,
and eventually someone's going to get seriously injured or killed." And he
mhm,
scoffed it off. And I said, I don't want to be the person to say that I told you so. I said, but I'm, kind of encouraging and suggesting and almost pleading with you to do what you need to do and look at this a little bit differently.
mhm,
Well, maybe less than 2 weeks later, the individual who was his site foreman on that particular site uh, was killed at another site.
ooh, oh my
As
God.
things um, sometimes go, I was assigned to go to that fatality inspection.
Mm,
Now, there was no payphone. I mean, there were no cell phones then. So I had a
mhm,
pager. I got a
mm,
page from the office. I went to a payphone in the street. I called the office and they told me that there was a fatality at such and such a location in Philadelphia off of Roosevelt Boulevard.
mm,
And when they gave me the specifics, I said, "Oh, you don't have to tell me anymore. I know the company that is actually working there because this particular foreman told me, and he was very respectable and assured me. He says, Martin, you don't have to worry. We're going to be leaving this site today. So whatever you see in the way of a hazards, they'll be corrected based upon the site being
mm,
completed." He said, "We're going to such and such a location. We'll be starting there at such and such a date." So he
mm,
told me where they were going. And as things happen, I get sent there, and who do I see? I see the
mm,
safety director, and when he sees me, it's almost like seeing a ghost because the words that we had in the exchange had become a
mhm,
reality. So sometimes we ought to be careful what we put into the universe. And I didn't
mhm,
intend for anything to happen, but in fact, things do happen if you allow things to continue based upon chance and the possibility of things going wrong. So I just wanted to share that point.
That's amazing, and I'm thankful that you did. Two folds I get from that. Number one, you can't be too big not to listen, and then number two, things in life does happen, and so you can't allow yourself not learn. And and before we go, real briefly, take a minute. How did that make you feel, though? How
Uh,
did that make you feel?
I was hurt. However, by that point in my career, I had been involved in accident and fatality inspections enough that I couldn't allow myself to become too emotionally attached to the situation. Otherwise, you are not able to do your job, and
Do your
you
job.
can't go home and take that stuff with you. But I
Right.
was hurt and annoyed because now the person that lost their life was not only a name and a statistic for me, it was a person whom I had met, whom I had spoken to. And to make matters even worse, he had 40 years on the job, and
Mm,
his son was working on the same site with him and
man.
basically saw his father on the ground after a fall from uh, 20 some odd feet above the ground.
Ooh,
Yeah, in this case, the argument from the individual director was we don't have to comply with this rule unless we are above this height. And they said, well, your guys don't bounce, so you need to protect them,
mhm.
at all costs. So, I was annoyed, but at the same time, I didn't treat that director with disrespect. I told him you need to pull yourself together because this is what has to happen and this is what we got to do today. And moving forward, you really need to change your outlook because you can't turn the clock back from this one, and you'll never be able to dismiss this particular incident.
Wow. Listen, it just goes to show that, you're in the right place. And, even if you try to get people to do the right thing, it's still up to that person to do the right thing. But, Sir Martin, I thank you so much for your time today. And I thank you for just having a very enlightening conversation about assured safety management and how you help conduct safety measures in different businesses and with business owners and people. And if anybody wanted to contact you, best way, I know we have your email address here. So that's mdavis at assuredsm.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So, and I thank you so much. And Case Couch, listen, business owners out there, if you need to make sure that you do all the precautionary measures concerning your business. And I feel that it's important to be able to listen, to know what you need to do, to know the ins and outs. So, what are you doing with your companies? And again, Sir Martin Davis, great job in conversation with us. The couch welcomes you. We thank you for being out today and wrapping up. I always say, love life, and live love. You only got one life, and so you got to only do it. You got one chance to get it right. And so, any words before we go, Mr. Davis?
Well, I thank you for inviting me to Kay's couch, and I don't know if you can see behind me, but because I was invited to Kay's couch, I'm sitting on my own couch.
I
And
love it.
but I appreciate having the opportunity to dialogue regarding my work experience and what I'm doing career wise now, and hopefully anyone listening to this message will get something out of it. And if they need any assistance or want a dialogue, they know how to contact me. And I
Absolutely.
appreciate you and continue doing the things that you're doing because you are making a difference as well, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So hang out for me a bit, maybe about
Oh,
a minute
one
after
last
we.
thing. Shout
Yes,
out
sir.
to the Matthews Broadcast Network.
Yeah.
That's how we connected.
Yeah. Shout outs to Mr. Stan Matthews and
And
Mr.
Matthews
Ralph.
and Ralph Henderson. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Ralph Henderson for MBN. Listen, if you're looking for a home to network and guaranteed 8 to 10 clients, listen, hit us up and come hang out with us on a Monday and Tuesday night meeting. You will be excited. So listen, hang out for me with me just a second when we close this off, Mr. Davis. But listen, Case Couch has been real. I want you guys to enjoy your holiday. If you're going to sip, I need everybody to sip responsibly. And if you're going to be out, be careful. If you're going to enjoy yourself, but do it very mature. And so you can get home and enjoy your families and enjoy the rest of the holiday. So much love and peace to everybody. And it's been real on the couch, K's Couch.